result against Robert Morris this past weekend. What were your main takeaways after you were able to check out the film and see what your team brought to the table against RMU?
Yeah, I think your initial reaction after a loss is always to, think about the negative side of things. And if you saw our locker room, like, they didn't take it lightly either. But as you got to sit down, there was a lot of things that I thought we did really well out there. Like, obviously our penalty kill was really strong. We limited a lot of their chances on the defensive side on it. But then there's a few things that we definitely need to clean up. A lot of it's habits and details. It's a lot of it is also individual based, just working on guys, pivoting the right way, when to close properly, playing more simple. Like, let's just move the puck north and let's use our speed and utilize our sticks there. But overall, like, it was obviously disappointing, but it's at the end of the day, we have to take it as a true learning experience. And as I said all along, this group, it's going to take some time. We got to teach them how to play the game right. Off it. We don't let our players cheat out there. They're playing an honest game, and I think what you're going to see is a different effort. I don't know if I can tell you there's going to be a different outcome because we have a really good club this weekend we're playing, but we're going to execute with a higher pace of conviction and compete, and hopefully we see a different result, but that's not guaranteed.
You had a couple penalties I know in particular you were frustrated with, well, really all of them in that game in particular, but the hits that resulted in penalties in particular, one was kind of a borderline boarding call. I think it was in the second period. What was really the message to kind of address those as you go forward?
Well, yeah, there's a couple there for sure I didn't like. A couple, I think, soft calls too. And I'm okay this time of year for that. I just hope they don't leak into where games count, off it. But I thought, like, anytime you play an exhibition game, you're trying to find some 4-on-4, 5-on-4, reps out of it, and you're going to get enough 5-on-5. But, there's a couple there that I didn't like, and they could cost you big time points, and so we addressed it as a group. Adult Norris, our captains, addressed it. I think they understand. A lot of that might be just the excitement and exuberance, and then part of it might be some frustration, late in the game here and there. But again, it's important that we channel our emotions, and it's just a even keel.
Power play, wanted to get your assessment on how they performed, and one of those goals, the goal for you guys, came right after a power play wrapped up. So what were your takeaways there?
Well, again, our power play, we ran 3 units for sure, maybe part of 4 off it. So I'm glad we gave guys chances, out there, give them different looks and opportunities off it. A lot of teams might have went right down to 2 units right away and got them reps, and hindsight's 20/20. But I thought there was enough guys throughout the last 4 or 5 weeks earning the right to get some looks on the power play. And but as we go into this weekend, we'll be down to our 2 units, and we'll work with them all week and leading into Niagara.
You had that long stretch of time, too, where you had the 6-on-4 in the third period, then the 6-on-5. You were trying to work in that area in particular with this team. Did not score, but what were your takeaways on the possession and ultimately the chances created?
Yeah, that's tough. We've never worked on 6-on-5 yet. So twofold, we were able to recover puck. Second part, I didn't think we get to the inside enough either, right? So a good team on a 6-on-5 will just play 5-minute ice and force you to shoot pucks. But again, it was maybe 5-6 minutes we were out there often, which is kind of unheard of, But I was trying to pull them about the 9-minute mark, trying to get them because we're down 4-1, like there's no. Everyone waits to the last 2-3 minutes, but we got to score 3 goals. We've only scored 1 in 50 minutes, so we might need some extra time 6-on-5. But I thought our guys did a nice job with it. We threw out a lot of different guys because of how long it went, and they adapted. They did a good job. We didn't capitalize. We ended up taking a interference penalty there off of kind of a soft pick there coming through, right? And then we're back on the kill. But the guy I felt bad for was Palmer Net, because I looked at his time on ice. He played the last 30 minutes. Last 20 minutes, like the third period. I think he had like 5 minutes of power play time, 5 minutes of penalty kill time, 5 minutes of 5-on-5. And then the other 5, I forgot that he was on the bench because we pulled him there for that 6-on-5. So he kind of got gypped of his ice time out there probably. But, I was happy with all 3 goalies too. There's a lot of positives we can pull.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of different players that dressed and played. Is there any positives that you saw from the game in them, and then growing pains that you're going to see throughout the rest of the season with those new guys?
Well, I think what you're going to find is, I'll answer the second part, the growing pains, is you're going to find players have to move the pucks quicker. They're against a bigger, stronger player. It's going to be really important that, you headman it. So if I'm even here 5 feet to Kevin, I got to give it to him and I got to jump into ice, and support the puck. The additive of trying to carry pucks, there's a time and space for it. But I thought, too, we made some really nice offensive plays. We just didn't finish. Good support, good speed, on entries off it. Just, again, getting into that mindset of putting more pucks to the net. Like we always talk to our guys, there's a difference between a shooter's mindset and a scorer's mindset. Shooter's mindset never has a purpose. A scorer's mindset is sometimes you got to lay the puck off a little bit, see where the traffic's going, be able to read sticks going downhill, wanting to get to the tough areas of the ice. And one thing we're working on this week is that, and I think a lot of people were expecting us to score X amount of goals, which is unrealistic because that's a good hockey team too we just played, and they're prepping for their first game, and we found ourselves on the back side of it. But I think for our first year guys and our returners, like our team in general, it's okay. It's not a bad thing to lose a game, because what it does, it puts you right back to work, and it brings you right down, and it brings a lot of humility to yourself. So we're back to work, and we're going to hopefully have a different outcome this weekend.
Last season, 8 non-conference games before the first CCHA match, and then this season only 4. Is there any struggles you see there, or things that you need to work on more efficiently, considering you have less time to work before you get into the conference?
No, not really. It's kind of nice because we had the exhibition game, and we'll have 2 games this weekend. And again, I don't know if everyone's playing this weekend or not. Like, it's going to be dictated off Friday night's performance. What happened? Same thing last year. We went to Mercyhurst one Friday, kept the lineup the same Saturday, off it. And what's kind of nice is then we get an exhibition game where we can start to get everybody back into play again. So I guess time will tell, but we have lots of time to learn right now, and we got to utilize this time on, again, working with our players, finding some continuity amongst lines and amongst our team.
Coach, 14 returners, 14 newcomers. How have your returning players helped the newcomers adjust to college hockey?
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job. It's funny because we get asked the question a lot about, all the new guys. Well, every team's got like 15 new guys too. If you go through the CCHA rosters, it's quite high, right? And hockey players are hockey players. There's never, like, the group is really close. There's no egos, there's no cliques, right from the get-go, and real credit to our seniors and leadership group, right? They're the guys. It's their last kick of the can. Off it. Last year was arguably probably their most wins, but we want to get more for them this year. We want to leave them out on a high note, and I'm going to take a page out of Wayne Wilson, captain of the national championship team. He made a comment last week how in the 4 years he'd always challenge players at RIT. Everybody should leave with a ring in those 4 years. Off it, and it made a lot of sense. So whether it's Atlantic Hockey League Championship, NCAA, just something that in those 4 years everybody should have a ring when they leave. And when we talked about it, I kind of like that idea. Now the problem is, are you ever going to have a player for 4 years? I don't know, right? But back in the day, you would have them for sure for the 4. So that's somewhere we want to strive to here.
BGSU received votes in the most recent USCHO poll. What are your thoughts on that, and how can you improve to be among the 20 ranked teams?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really follow that. What poll?
The USCHO.
I couldn't even tell you much about it. I don't know who votes on those. Do you know? I don't even know either. So that's how much I follow it. It's the beginning of the year, right? You know what I mean? Like, as I say along, as long as we're trajecting the right way and we're going right off it, polls are fan base to me always.
But you start off with an exhibition, have 2 regular season games, come back with an exhibition. What are the benefits of this early schedule of being able to kind of figure out who your team is and everything like that?
Yeah, it's great. Like I like it because we do have new faces, right? So we get to kind of do some trial and error with them, put them into positions where there's going to be times I'm going to put them in positions to fail. I'm going to put guys out there during a game where they're like, well, where do I go? How about just be a hockey player? Like, let's see what you got now, right? And that's all right, off it. But we're going to take advantage of that, especially when you get into you got goaltending right off it where a goalie either plays the whole game and the other two don't. So having the exhibition game will really allow us to see how that plays out to make sure everybody gets, touches that weekend again.
Any other questions here? Should we see if anyone on the call has any?
Anybody online got questions?
Yeah, I got a few actually. In regards to the exhibition games, we'll stay on that. I've talked to a few other coaches, and there seems to be a growing thought of maybe trying to push to get a weekend added at the beginning of the season just for exhibition games. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we should get more games, period, in college hockey, like 50, so I'm in favor of exhibition weekends. I'm in favor of extending the season to the start of mid-September and go, I think the amount of games we play are not enough. I think we should be, especially when we go on weekend series, that's my thoughts. I don't see why we can't get to, a 44, 46, 48 type weekend, off it. But yeah, I'd take just a pure exhibition weekend, and everybody gets 2 exhibition games, so you can really work on things and, obviously try to play those games with a close opponent for travel reasons. And yeah, I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I do. A couple things about this weekend. Have you decided who's going to be starting Friday night between the fights?
I think you asked that almost every Tuesday when we talked last year. I haven't got there yet.
Oh my goodness gracious! You had all summer to think about this, but no, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I don't have anybody.
I understand.
Yeah.
Finally, are there any players who won't be making the trip?
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's healthy, everybody's good.
As of right now, yeah.
Perfect. Well, unless you, batter them in practice.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it, Coach.
Okay, thank you.